Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Rapping with the Rep. I'm State Representative Ken Gordon. I'm excited to have a very special show. Today, we're going to be talking about the Civil Air Patrol. With me are my guests, Captain Diane Zermatt, and we've got Patrolman Steve Papagno, who is part of the Burlington Police Force, who, when he was a student at Burlington High School, was part of the Civil Air Patrol. We're going to talk about his experience, and we're going to talk about what the Civil Air Patrol does now. I was excited when a few weeks ago Captain Zermatt came to my office in the State House and told me about the opportunity. Actually, we spoke in Bedford first and then in the State House since then about the opportunities that the CAP provides for the residents here in the district. The program combines really two facets. One is the cadet program, where students in the high schools gain leadership skills and become part of an organization that contributes to the communities in the ways that we'll talk about. And the other is what they call their senior program, where people who are private pilots and people who support the private pilots get together and do search and rescue operations and assist the military and the police in their duties when the call comes out. So, Captain, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming. And if you could tell us in a little more specific sense about the CAP and what it does now.
The Civil Air Patrol is actually the auxiliary of the Air Force. So we are part of the total force, and Congress has mandated us 3 missions. So we have our cadet programs that you talked about, we have aerospace education, and the emergency services. So those are the 3 missions that we carry out. And the part that I'm mostly involved in is the cadet programs. So in our Massachusetts wing, we have 300 cadets and about 300 senior members that are also involved. The force is an all-volunteer force, and so we do have the cadet program side, and then we do the emergency services with the Massachusetts wing has a fleet of 4 aircraft. So we have some Cessna 172s that we get up in the air, and we do, for emergency services, we'll do things like search and rescue, we do disaster relief, and we have done them in the past a lot to support the Commonwealth. Homeland Security is another one of our missions. We do counter-drug efforts, and we work with the Memorandum of Understanding with MEMA.
And I know that as part of the program, you make some of your services available to legislators so that we can assist with issues that may come up in the district if we have the need to survey our area. And as part of that, what I'm excited about is, as part of our Rapping with the Rep show, today we're going to take to the air, and we're going to go aboard one of the Cessna jets. And who's the pilot that will be with us?
Major Dick Schaffner.
Major Dick Schaffner will be with us. And we're going to take a look at Burlington from the air, and we're going to talk about some of the things that, again, that the Major has been involved with and that the CAP has been involved with. So thank you for that opportunity, and it'll make for a great show.
We're looking forward to it. Yeah.
Patrolman, thank you, Steve, for coming with us. Now, you were a member of the cadets in high school. Can you describe some of what you remember about that experience?
Oh, I remember it was an excellent experience for me. I was very excited to be a part of it. I was a former member of the Hanscom Composite Squadron. We were very active in emergency services and aerospace training and education and understanding. We had a lot of orientation flights with, I believe, probably the same Cessnas. And then we did a lot of emergency services work over the course of the 4 years. We searched for lost people. There was one particular time we had to search for a down plane towards the western part of the state, which I think we actually invariably found. And it was such an overall great experience. I thought, as being a father now, I thought that would be a great experience for now my children to be part of when they're age appropriate.
And so when you searched for that plane, did you do it from the air?
No, I was on the ground. We were ground units.
How many participants were involved in that search? It wasn't just the Hanscom area, I would imagine, right?
No, if I remember, it was a regional collaborative, 40, 50 people. It was so long ago.
Yeah, and you were cited for that. You received some recognition for that mission, right?
Yes, we received a commendation and a fine ribbon, I think it was called then.
And you retained some of the patches and recognition that you got. You brought some of that with you today. Can you show our viewers what you brought?
Well, certainly. My old name tag. Actually, when I left in 1988, I left Civil Air Patrol and I joined the Marine Corps. I was the cadet commander as a cadet master sergeant. That was my old chevron. The Massachusetts CAP patch and our old Hanscom Composite Squadron patch that I was able to design.
I'm going to show some of our viewers. So these are the patches, and you designed these patches?
Yes, I designed that patch.
Can you talk about what, I'm going to hold one, these are the same, right? I'll hold
Yes.
one up and give you
Certainly,
give you
thank
one. Just describe for us what went into the design.
Standard Air Force shield. The eagle is a symbol of the nation. Of course, the outline of Massachusetts. The red signified the earth. The blue represents the sky. The 3 stars represented the 3, or is significant, signifies the 3 missions of Civil Air Patrol: aerospace training, cadet program, and leadership, and emergency services. The 19043 was Hanscom Composite Squadron's charter.
How long did that get, was that in use, do you know?
I'm not sure, but talking to Colonel Duffy, I think the patch has been recently changed, so I guess well over 20 years.
Because you've been with the force, the Burlington Police Force for 17, right?
Yes, sir.
And it's been a little over 20 since you were with the CAP in high school, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So that, and you served in the Marines, right?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did your experience in the CAP have an effect or an influence on how your life progressed, both in the Marines and with the Burlington Police Force?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
How so? Can you talk about that?
Well, comparing my time in the Marines and to Civil Air Patrol, going into Civil Air Patrol, particularly in the basic training, I had a leg up over my peers because I knew drill and ceremony. I knew the discipline about marching, manual of orders. I was no stranger to wearing uniforms, shining boots, polishing brass, stuff like that. So my time when it came to being in boot camp was very easy compared to the overall, which is to say I didn't have to worry about the marching part of it. There was other challenges to boot camp, of course.
That's great. And Captain Zerman, I bet that makes you proud to hear the effect that this program has on
Sure.
people.
Oh, absolutely. My son was in Hanscom Composite Squadron, and now he's at the Air Force Academy. So the transition was, really a lot better for him. He was much more prepared to move into that kind of a military situation after having been through.
And tell us
Civil
about
Air
your history. How did you become involved? And
Well, I have been in the Air Force my whole life, it seems like. I was born into it and raised in the Air Force. I went to the Air Force Academy myself, and then I flew in the Air Force for 8 years. I flew KC-135s and started our family in the Air Force, and that's when I was interested in Civil Air Patrol because I could see what it could do for our 2 boys. So our boys were in it. Our oldest one stayed. He ended up being the cadet commander as well. Yeah, so we have a great cadet program now. We have 46 cadets there now. It's really thriving. And, well, that's the story.
46 are at Hanscom now?
Yes.
And they come
right.
from all over the region,
All
I would
over,
imagine,
yes, they
right?
do.
One is a resident at Hanscom?
One
Is
is.
that
We have some from Cambridge, Marlborough. They come from all over. Across Massachusetts, there are 13 squadrons. So people all across Massachusetts can join Civil Air Patrol.
That's wonderful. When you mentioned that you are a graduate of the Air Force Academy, were you one of the first women to come through and graduate from?
I wasn't. I got there in 1983. The first class of women graduated in 1980. So I was pretty
Pretty
new.
close.
Right.
What was that experience like? It must have been a wonderful.
It was
experience?
really wonderful. I have some friends now. They've been lifelong friends. I think that going to the academy gave me some opportunities I certainly couldn't have done before. I mean, I could never have imagined flying a plane as my job, and that was what the Air Force Academy led me to. It's really, really great experience. We have a lot of cadets that seem to want to go that direction. Not everybody wants to go to a service academy, but we've had a few go. We've had a couple to West Point. We have some right now that are waiting for their appointments to the Naval Academy. So it's really a. And the other thing with the Air Force is if you get to your cadet officer, which is a cadet second lieutenant, if you get your Billy Mitchell Award, then the Air Force views that so highly that you would, if you'd like to enlist in the Air Force, you could become an E3 with that Billy Mitchell Award.
That's a wonderful start.
Yeah, it is.
Isn't it?
That's how they regard it. Yeah.
With regard to the seniors program, how often do missions go out? What's been your experience with the use of the CAP in this area?
Well, thankfully for a while there haven't been any natural disasters, so we haven't really gone up to do those. We've certainly helped out in Hurricane Sandy, Hurricane Irene. There were some tornadoes in the west, and so we do a lot of photo reconnaissance. We take a lot of photos and we can download them so the incident commander can see what's happening on the ground. On a regular basis, we do fertile keynote missions. Have you heard of those?
No, what is that?
Yeah. Well, it is air intercept defense training. Let me see if I got that right. It's air defense intercept training. And so we work with the fighters out of Barnes. And if you can imagine a bad guy being in a small airplane and coming into a restricted airspace, especially here on the East Coast, what's a fighter going to do to protect the area? How is he going to get a slow-flying aircraft out of the way? So what our pilots do is provide them that opportunity. So we fly low and we fly slow, and we are as if we're the target. We're the bad guys.
Oh, so you're the training.
Right, and we
plane.
help the fighters understand how to intercept and escort us out of the area.
Now, your members are civilians?
Yes.
Is that right? And I would probably guess many former military, such as yourself, would.
There are quite a few former military.
And do
yes.
some join independent of that? Do they join out of the interest of helping out?
Oh yes, a lot of people, of course, would like to fly, but we have all kinds of positions, from our finance and admin people to logistics. We have our professional development officer. So there's such a wide variety of things that you can do. It doesn't just have to be the flying. Yeah.
Are there opportunities now for people to become involved in that level?
Absolutely.
What do they do if they want to become involved?
Well, you can go to www.gocivilairpatrol.com.
I know it's probably showing right now on our screen.
Oh, I hope so. And you can also call our squadron commander, Lieutenant Colonel Hood, or anyone at our squadron. Talk to them about a membership. If you're interested in becoming a member at Hanscom Composite Squadron, we can certainly help you out. There's only a $50 fee to be a senior member. Cadets, it's only $31 a year.
And is there a time commitment, or do you work that around what people are available to do?
It depends on what you'd like to do. There are some people who are really interested, and we have a lot of training missions. So we do search and rescue exercises, we do a lot of training for the mission crew and the ground crew. And if you're interested in that, you just put more time into it. So it's really what you want to make of it.
It's interesting. I know the police sometimes, we see they get involved with looking for someone. Sometimes it's an abducted child, and you get the alerts that come out. Does the CAP get involved with that at all, that type of searching out?
Not with the police. It would generally be because there's an ELT that's tripped off or something. We haven't really been involved.
Steve, have you seen involvement with the CAP since you've joined the force?
No, so the most involvement I've really seen is they come out for our ceremonies at the Common for Veterans and Memorial Day.
And I'm sure you take a little special pride, having graduated from that program yourself.
Yes.
You have an opportunity to talk to them and show that encouragement.
Oh, absolutely.
So what we're going to do is we're going to be boarding a flight. We're going to take a look at Burlington from a different point of view, as you said, the sort of the low and slow flight so we'll have an opportunity to see things in some detail. And we're looking forward to that opportunity. We're here with Major Dick Schaffner, who is going to be our pilot today. And we're really excited to be able to go up and tour around and see some of Burlington, Bedford, and Wilmington. How long have you been associated with the Civil Air Patrol?
In 1971 I started.
And what got you involved?
Mostly the search and rescue stuff. That's what I enjoy doing. So I've been doing that quite a while and had quite a few saves, so I'm pretty excited about it.
Can you tell us about some of those that are most?
Well, the last one happened up in western Massachusetts, where a family went into the mountain. We were the only ones searching. We found them, and it was like 3 kids to survive. Parents didn't survive. So I wish I could remember the dates and everything. It was like probably 10 years ago.
It must have been such a thrill. Well,
To
for
find
you
it, yes, to
to
find
know
it,
you
actually
made
find
such
it,
a
yeah.
difference.
Right.
And how old were the kids?
At that time, they were probably 6, 7 years old.
And they just got lost in the the mountains?
Well, no, they hit the mountain with the airplane. The
Oh.
father was flying. He did not survive. Mother did not survive. But three kids survived. I don't know if any other kids that didn't make it or not. But that's probably one of the highlights of my search and rescue career.
Yes, thank you for that important talk. How many search and rescue missions have you flown, do you know?
Well, probably 100. But we have crash locators on the airplanes, so when they go off, we go out, we find them. That's the Air Force asked us to do that. That's what we do.
And are you an Air Force veteran?
No, Navy.
A Navy. Were you a Navy pilot?
No, I was a flight engineer in the Navy. I retired. I had 22 years of service. So we flew as a flight engineer at P3, and we did a lot of anti-submarine warfare. So I was deployed to Iceland, the Azores, Sigonella, that part of the world.
It's wonderful. Thank you for that. Thank you for your service. So we're going to be going up for a bit and seeing some of the districts, some of the few towns.
We're going to try our best because, as you know, you're right in the Class D airspace right here. So we'll have to talk to the tower and see how much they'll let us do. It's not very busy right now, so maybe we can do a little bit of sightseeing.
Okay. Well, we're excited. Thank you very much, Major. Appreciate it.
You-
Okay, this is State Representative Ken Gordon. We're here on location at Hanscom Field, and we're with the Civil Air Patrol, the cadets from Hanscom Field. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you the microphone and ask you to tell us your name, your rank, where you're from, the town you're from, and tell us a little bit about what your favorite thing is about the Civil Air Patrol, the cadet program that you're involved with. I'll start over here, and then we'll come over.
My name is Luke Wilson. I'm an Airman Basic. I'm from Sudbury, Massachusetts. And my favorite thing about Civil Air Patrol is the physical training aspect of the cadet programs.
I'm Charles Marcioni. I'm a cadet senior airman. I'm from Weston, and my favorite part is how everyone has a similar mindset about aerospace education and things like that.
I'm Adam Susky. I'm a cadet senior airman in the program, and my favorite aspect about this program is the military aspect of it, and I'm from Sudbury.
I'm Cadet Technical Sergeant Kayla Driscoll. I'm from Wilmington, Massachusetts, and my favorite thing about the cadet program is the military aspect.
I'm Cadet Technical Sergeant Jericho Kane. I'm from Brookline. My favorite part is the orientation flights.
I'm Michael Liu, Cadet Airman. My favorite part is the flight experience we can get out of.
I'm Thomas Knoth. I'm a cadet senior airman, and my favorite part of Civil Air Patrol is the orientation flights.
So a few of you have said your favorite aspect are the flights that you've taken now. Just raise your hand for me. Who has taken an orientation flight so far? All of you? All of you. How many? More than one? Raise your hand if you've taken more than one. How about that before we... how many have you taken?
3, sir.
3. And how many?
2, sir.
2. How many? 1 or 2?
Just one, sir.
1. How many?
2, sir.
Have you been able to sit in the co-pilot seat? And tell me, just raise your hand if you. What's the role? What do you do when you're flying in the co-pilot seat? What role do you have?
When you're in the co-pilot seat, you are usually looking out for other air traffic so that you don't eventually crash.
That's a very important role. Anyone else want to add to that?
When you're in the co-pilot seat, there are 5 orientation flights, and each flight you do something different. So, for example, your third flight, you learn to stall the aircraft, so you actually get to fly the aircraft with the assistance of the instructor, sir.
Now, do you all intend to get a pilot's license so that you can fly? That'll be fun, huh? You were going to tell us something too.
I was just going to say that when you go in the co-pilot seat, depending on both like which instructor you have and which flight which number of flight it is, you generally get like full control over the aircraft for a certain amount of time, and you learn how to do some basic maneuvers and stuff like that, sir.
can tell you one of my colleagues who serves in the state senate runs an airline called Cape Air out of the Cape, and I know that there's a great and a very bright future for people who who get a pilot's license and then study aviation in college. So I know you're headed down a very interesting path. Now, how many? We'll raise your hand again. How many of you are in high school? Middle school? Okay, let's go down to 7th grade. 7th grade. 8th grade? 3 of you, right? And you're in high school, so which grade are you in?
9th grade, sir.
7th grade, sir.
10th grade, sir.
So this is great. And how many years does Civil Air Patrol, how many years is it offered? It starts in 7th grade and up to 12th grade, is that right? And among 7th graders, are there younger?
Well, you can join the program when you're 12, sir, and I believe you can become a senior member at 21.
Interesting.
You can join when you're 12, and then you can be a cadet until you're either 18 or up to 22 at the very latest, and then you can become a senior member for as long as you want, sir.
And you said your interest was in the military. Are you planning to enlist in the military when you're finished with high school? And you go to Wilmington High School, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And it's a brand new school, right?
It's very nice, sir.
Are you enjoying it there?
Yes, sir.
Congratulations on that. And congratulations, everyone, on your participation in Civil Air Patrol. And I tell you what, we're going to be signing off the show here. So I'm going to tell everybody that this is State Representative Ken Gordon signing off. Thank you for watching. Rapping with the Rep. And everybody, you want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody. So we've been talking about some of the programs with the Civil Air Patrol, and one is the cadet program. I know that you've got a special involvement with that. Can you describe in a little bit more detail what you do with the cadets?
Yeah, I'd love to. I'm the Aerospace Education Officer, and so one of the things that we do with the cadet program is, of course, introduce them to aviation and space, both as a topic and also as a career. But the cadet program is this wonderful, almost a secret, and I wish it wasn't. I wish more people knew about it, because it is this awesome leadership and character development program.
So now you're all in on the secret.
Yes. So the kids are ages 12 to 21, and they move through the program. We have some cadets who've been there for 6 years. So we not only have the leadership and character development, but we do the emergency services, which sounds like what you did a lot of. We have volunteer service. We do physical fitness training with them as well. And right now we have a program of 46 cadets, and they come every Thursday night. They're very dedicated. And part of the program as well is the cadet activities that we do outside of our weekly meetings. So like this Saturday, we're going to fly them in the orientation flights, and you get to see that.
Oh, wonderful.
Right. So every cadet is allowed 5 powered flights and 5 glider flights. But they're not just joyrides. So they get to go up on these flights with our orientation flight pilots. And each flight has a particular syllabus, and they go through and they learn. And it builds. So every flight is a little bit more information, and they're getting comfortable with being in the airplane and with a sense of everything that's going on around them up in the air.
Do they work up to the opportunity to take the controls?
Yes. Above 1,000 feet, the cadets can take the controls. Yeah.
Oh, that must be something they really look forward to.
It's great. We have 9 cadets who are going to fly on Saturday. Yes.
On Saturday.
Right,
That's wonderful. And so we'll have an opportunity to see them as they board their flights?
Yeah.
And are some boarding for the first time?
Yes, we have 5 first flyers. First flights is what we call them.
And is the program at Hanscom, is that where you operate from when they take the classes and
Yes.
get involved?
Mhm, we're right on base.
That's wonderful. Steve, how did this affect you when you were there? What was your favorite part of the CAP, essentially?
Well, I really enjoyed the leadership program of it, and I really enjoyed the emergency services part of it. We were always constantly training, from CPR all the way to search lines, grid searches, and stuff like that. As I mentioned earlier, the leadership program I always thought was excellent, because I'm not sure how it is now, but back then it was very comprehensive, frequent testing and reassuring, and then you move yourself through the ranks and you actually can apply what you've learned. A lot of lessons that I've learned at Civil Air Patrol I applied while I was in the Marines and today as a police officer.
What are some of those lessons?
Determination, pride, appearance. You know, I'm no stranger to wearing a uniform. I've been in a uniform since I was 14 with this program to this day. Just determination, and learning just to do the right things. Even though, you know, the right decision may be the tough decision, but still doing the right decision.
That's wonderful. How is it challenging now to find kids for the program?
We're busting at the seams, to tell you the truth, at Hanscom. We really have a thriving squadron. So they're coming. Bedford High School offers JROTC, so that's another avenue for kids who might be interested in the military. But in terms of Civil Air Patrol and getting kids on board, they're coming to us.
Sometimes you have the same kids who are in ROTC?
JROTC, yes, we had a couple.
And
Right now
CAP?
we don't have any. One's in the Navy. He's graduated and he's moved on to the Navy, and then my son has moved on to Air Force Academy.
What are some of the things that you've heard from other people talking about the kids that have come through the cadet program? Do they notice their leadership skills? Do they
Absolutely.
respond to you?
Yes.
What are do you have some stories of some of the things that you've heard or have been told?
I'm not sure if I can think of any stories that I've necessarily been told, but just to watch these young men and women and how they focus, and they have this determination and this goal for their lives. So they come every week very determined to learn how to, first of all, lead themselves and be followers, and then they move up through the ranks in order to become leaders. So the ability they have to learn how to speak. I mean, public speaking is a big thing. And
You must see the progress being made outside of the program with the kids as well as
Absolutely.
they progress through school, high school, and
Right.
and get involved.
they're very impressive, yeah. It's very, very impressive.
It's wonderful. How else, Steve, has it affected you coming into adulthood? Are there choices that you made and thought back about your CAP days that had an effect, do you think?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My family, we're no stranger to service. All my uncles served variously Korea, during the Korea era. It was just a natural fit for me, but Civil Air Patrol, I've always been interested in military service, and when I found out at age 14, I grabbed it with both hands and I ran. And I ran with it, eventually giving me to the point where I could actually join the Marine Corps.
That's what I was wondering. Now, at Burlington High School at that time, were there other students that were in the CAP, or did you hear about it, you think, independently?
I heard about it independently. Some senior members, I'm not sure if they're still with the program, they mentioned it to me, and then I looked into it. There were some other students I think I recruited as I was over at Hanscom.
And there's a retired Burlington police officer who was with the program too, is that right?
Yes, I believe is Lieutenant Colonel William Duffy.
And has he still been involved?
He's very involved, yes.
That's great, giving back to the community and giving back to
Absolutely.
the kids. We've had a great opportunity to take to the air to bring Rapping with the Rep, as well as our Burlington viewers, to the air to see a little bit of Burlington from a different point of view. And so I appreciate that opportunity, and I'm glad that we know now that there are such wonderful and dedicated people in the senior program looking out for us, and people involved with the cadet program looking out for our youth. So thank you very much for the work that you do, and for the work that you do for us in Burlington and have done continually. Thank you very much, Steve, and thank you very much,
Thank you.
Diane. Thank you.